First to the England camp with 3 days to go until that opening World Cup match against Iran. The Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale has spoken of his admiration for teammate Bukayo Saka following the racist abuse he received after missing a penalty in the Euro 2020 final. Let's go live to the England team hotel in Al Warraq and Rob Dorset. Rob, good evening to you as it is there. Ramsdale gave a pretty heartfelt response, didn't he?
He did, Nick, and I tell you what, it was a really impressive and engaging talk, I think you have to say, that Aaron Ramsdale gave us today. It's pretty clear that a lot of these England players are very, very close, but Ramsdale clearly has a special close relationship with Bukayo Saka, his Arsenal teammate, of course. And remember, Saka was only 19 when he missed that penalty in the final of the Euros before he got that horrific racist abuse. So he's had an awful lot to deal with in his time and has come back very, very well, both on the pitch and off it. I mean, on the pitch, I think he scored 4 out of 4 penalties since, but off it, he's grown from that pretty horrific experience into a maybe more mature man and somebody who's gone through all of these difficulties and come out the other side of it. So when we heard from Aaron Ramsdale speaking about it today, it was heartfelt, and as you have a listen to it, because I think you noticed at the very, very start, he wanted to make sure that he said the right thing and got the right tone in describing a close friend of his.
Try and find the right words. Impeccably, probably. The kid's a lovely boy. He has time for everyone. Works super hard throughout every week. Very, very rarely misses a training session, and he used all that motivation of criticism, but also more so the love which everyone gave him an extra boost. And don't forget, he had sort of the pressure of the whole football club on him last year. Sort of him and Emile Smith-Rowe were our two sort of main guys, and he's dealt with that, he's dealt with everything else, and he's thriving now, and I can't wait to see him take this stage and thriving over here.
Let's move on, Rob, to something else that he talked about. It doesn't quite send the same shivers through English hearts that it used to, but the word penalties was raised at the press conference today.
It still sends shivers through plenty of them, and I think it still does the players. I mean, look, they broke that hoodoo when they won a penalty shootout against Colombia in Russia 4 years ago, England's first victory in penalties at a World Cup. So yeah, it's not quite the same, but that's because the processes are different. There was a big debate in previous tournaments and in previous England generations about how you prepare for penalties. Do you just ignore it and leave it until on the day? The philosophy of Gareth Southgate and the rest of his coaching staff is very much you try and practice it as much as possible, as frequently as possible, so that it becomes second nature. And so we asked Aaron Ramsdale about it today. Are you practicing penalties already? He said yes, they are, but not the sort of penalties as you would expect them. There's no goalkeepers in the net. Have a listen to how he explained it.
We haven't done any with goalkeepers at the minute. We have something which is called a skills net, where the corners are open at the moment. I think the lads are just working on sort of the technique. I think it can become detrimental if they're taking them against goalkeepers, because we then start to know where they're going and we can start to gamble a little bit, especially when we don't want to get scored on all the time. So the later rounds, I think we'll start seeing them introduced into more pressurised ones with the goalkeepers.
So that was Aaron Ramsdale. Of course, we saw England training today as well, and Ramsdale told us that it is very hot for those England players. It was 32, 33 degrees Celsius again at 12:30 local time when England were training. That's the heat of the day, and I discovered earlier on today that that's a deliberate plan from Southgate and the rest of his conditioning staff. They want to make sure that England are quickly acclimatised to the worst of it, almost. That's why they're training at such high temperatures, and they've introduced this thing that the players call the heat tent. and it's got a sort of big fan that blows mist at them. Ramsdale said the goalkeepers don't get much of a look in with that, but they have got ice packs and ice vests that they're using to try and cool them down quickly as they adapt to those high temperatures. Nice answers from him as well on the battle for the number 1 jersey. I think he expects Jordan Pickford to be number 1, as we fully do as well for this tournament, but he says he won't sit easy with him, he'll be pushing him all the way. And he also talked about the World Cup ball, which always makes headlines, doesn't it? Danny Ward, the Wales goalkeeper, said he doesn't like it. He thinks it moves a little bit too much in the air. Ramsdale thinks it's great, thinks it's got good consistency in it. So a difference of opinion between the Welsh and English goalkeepers there. The important message that came out of training, though, was that James Maddison has missed training again. He was there for the huddle at the very start of the session when all of the players got together, but then he trotted off to carry out his own work away from the rest of the group. He's still got that niggling little knee problem, which he and England are trying to manage. I think because of that, you have to assume he's going to have a very bit part to play in the opening game against Iran, which is now just 3 days away. May not feature at all. We know Kyle Walker won't in that game at all. The other 24, though, fit, available and ready for selection, we think, Nick.
Thank you very much, Rob.